What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about scrims. What is a scrim? How do I scrim? Scrim etiquette, etc. Right? So before we get into anything when it comes to in the server or the setup, we're going to talk about the lobby. Yes, the lobby is important in a scrim, and I'm going to show you why. We want to have all these settings on, and I'm going to go through each setting and explain why you want to have it on. Cheats. Number one, no one is going to cheat against you. No one is going to go immune where they can't take damage. Nobody's going to fly around in the air. Nobody's going to do that. You want to have your cheats on so you can pause the match. You can ghost around. So what that means is ghosting or no clipping is where you hit a button on your keyboard and you are in a flight mode and you can move around the map extremely quickly. So this helps in scrims when you're practicing new setups and people are forgetting where to go. You know, they're hey, I actually want to do this round. Let's swap it up at 10 seconds, right? It opens up the scrim to where you have a lot more opportunity. You can switch agents, you can restart the game, you can restart the round. It's very important to have cheats on because you want to be able to play with all those things. You know, you want to be able to use that stuff. You don't want to load into a scrim, stuck where you have to restart it completely or whatever the case is, right? Tournament mode, not the biggest deal in the world. Tournament mode is something that you use in like a match where you can like pause the timer and stuff like that. So I just keep it on just to keep it on. Overtime win by 2, not the biggest thing in the world, but I keep it on for the reason of when you do play a scrim, sometimes it goes fast and maybe it ends 12-12 and it ties up and maybe you have 15 minutes left. I've been in situations where we play out a couple more rounds till the next block comes up, right? And a block is a scrim block. That's what I'm referring to. An hour-long window, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, right? 7 to 8. Play out all rounds. This is very important too. You don't want to play a short scrim. You don't want to play to get to 13 rounds, and that's it. A lot of more inexperienced players, I've even seen some collegiate players do this and mess up. You want to have play out all rounds on because you want to play 12 rounds of attack and 12 rounds of defense. Let's talk about Ascent real quick. Let's say we start defense Ascent and we have a very defense-sided comp. We win the half 10-2, then we win the attack pistol and the anti-eco, and the next round we win the game 13-2, and it's over. That's a 20-minute scrim. That's not worth your time. You want to have play out all rounds on so you can practice 12 rounds of defense, 12 rounds of attack. Everybody gets their fair share of rounds, and that will usually take 45 to an hour, right? And that's our scrim block. So again, important to have that on so you guys can get the full amount of value out of a scrim. You don't want to play to 13 rounds and just stop playing, right? You want to play out the game. It doesn't matter if you lose 0-24 or you win 24-0. You want to practice. That's our goal. Okay, we're not playing to win, we're playing to practice and get better. Hide match history. This is also really important. The reason that you have this on is because you don't want someone going into your games and clicking on this and seeing, where your setups were, who was playing where, what did they do when they have this ult, pistol round setups, exec setups, right? You don't want to have that available. So make sure that you have your history turned off as well. So those are the lobby settings. Now, we're also going to go over what you should be doing before scrim. So before a scrim, every single day that you scrim, your IGL or coach should bring something up to the table. If you guys ever played sports like football or basketball or baseball where you watch film, I'm sure a bunch of other sports do that. I'm just talking about the sports that I've specifically played. When you watch film, this is the exact same situation. You have your IGL or your coach bring something to the table. Hey guys, last week's match, we sucked on this. We didn't do good on that. Last week's match, I want to change up what we did on this map, and we're going to do it this way now. So we have something to work on, whether it's our comp, whether it's our setup, maybe you're switching some agents around, whatever the case is. We want to have something to work on. And the IGL, the coach, needs to make a goal for everyone, right? What do you need to do in the scrim? You're not playing the scrim to play the game. You're playing the scrim to practice and get better. And to do that, you need to have goals. So again, you should take it upon yourself to self-VOD review and develop goals for yourself. I want to stop dying first so much. I want to start getting more assists as an initiator. I want to start, playing my man advantage situations and my clutches better, right? So again, you want to have goals for yourself, and on top of that, your team should present some goals to you that they want you to practice as well. And then again, building on that, when it comes to the prep, you also want to decide on what you want to do on that map for today, right? So there are going to be times when you scrim that you're going to practice an A hit 12 rounds in a row on attack. You're going to go A 12 rounds in a row. As long as you are practicing your spacing, your timing, util combos, and you're practicing that and you're getting it down and you're getting it down and you're getting it down, that's a quality scrim. Now, on the other end of that, something that I do want to say when we're starting to get into the server here, I guess is what I'm going to go into. When someone is doing that, when someone is, usually they'll tell you, hey guys, we're practicing an A hit today. So sometimes it kind of does suck when someone says that because you usually you usually don't get to do what you want to do. But a lot of times you can propose like a trade off. Hey, can you do 8 A hits and 4 defaults? Can you do 6 A hits and 6 defaults? Because you don't want to just walk into the server and just demand shit, right? And just tell someone that this is how it's going to be played. In a scrim, you want to view them as a partner, as a neighbor almost, I guess you could say, and you want to be a good neighbor, right? You want to, sometimes be able to switch up the map and be flexible. You want to sometimes, let them do those 12A hits in exchange for you do 12A hits next time, right? You want to build partners in this game because the more connections and the more friends and the more respect that you gain, the higher your ceiling rises and the more stock you have as a player goes up, right? People respect you. So just because I could be terrible, I can't shoot back. I'm not smart. But if I just treat people normally and treat them as I would treat myself or how I would want to be treated, it goes a long way. So again, I wanted to add that in there real quick. But again, when we get into the server, we want to talk about how to play a scrim, how to play out a scrim. So again, we're going to be playing 24 rounds, 12 defense, 12 attack. We are not going to be playing to win. That is the one thing that people mess up on. You are not playing to win the scrim. We are playing to practice our goals, and we are playing to practice what our IGL and our coach wants us to practice. I don't care if I scrim teams and I lose 0-24, or if I win 24-0. If the scrim is quality, that's all that matters. If somebody's running it down or somebody's throwing, or maybe the team that we're scrimming is, a much low skill level than us, maybe we'll switch it up. But other than that, again, you should be able to focus on what you're doing. Try not to tilt, try not to get emotional, and just play it out, right? You're playing to improve, you're playing to practice. It's a big part about scrimming that everybody misses, is that everybody thinks that you need to win, right? It's not the case. Now, when it comes to etiquette, what should I be doing? How should I be acting? I really wish that this was more common sense, but as you go on, you realize that common sense isn't so common. Doing things like typing, doing things like spraying somebody's body, doing things like running around with your knife out, doing things like, just kind of like pugging and just, not taking your time. All that stuff should be thrown out the window immediately. And I would personally recommend that if you run into any of those things against people that you scrim, you should blacklist them and not scrim them because that's a waste of your time. Scrimming, again, is practice. It should be, a respectful match against two teams where you guys are playing to improve, right? You don't want to necessarily adapt to the enemy team and what they're doing and trying to counter it. So like I said, if we're doing those 12 A hits, you don't want to put 4 people on A. Because number one, you're making it impossible for them to practice. Number two, you're playing to win. And number three, your A players aren't getting the practice that they need on holding A, right? So again, let's say in our realm of Ascent. If I type out, hey guys, I'm going to be doing, A execs today. So if you guys want to plan around that, that'll be cool. You don't want to have 5 people A because you're not playing to win the scrim. You're playing to practice. So let's say we do a 3-2 setup. 3 people A, 2 people B. If we go A 12 times, our new goals can be, A players, you guys test out 2 setups. Setup number 1, you're fighting for A main and you're trying to stop that rush. Setup number 2, you play for the retake and you wait for us. B players, same thing, right? B players, you guys' new goals today are taking B main space and clearing it out fully and working the flank. And situation 2, your guys' goal is to, be able to rotate and get ready to retake fast on these guys, right? So again, that's how we want to play a scrim, where we're not trying to just sit around and adjust and win every single round through brute force. That's not going to get you anywhere. Number 1, your practice is shit. Number 2, your opponent is going to notice that and they're going to think that you're shit and you're not going to get another booking, and they're going to fucking talk about you and gossip. You know what I mean? So very important to do that. When it comes to the scrim ending, you want to have your coach, your manager, your player on your team, someone should be recording, right? Someone should be recording so there's a VOD available that you guys can watch back, whether it's after the scrim, whether it's after all of day's scrims, or maybe you watch it the next day before scrims. You want something that you can go over so you can look at the stuff that you practiced, right? What are we doing wrong? What are we doing right? Is this worth trying again, or do we need to scrap it? Is this good? Do we need to build on it, right? All those questions should be asked, again, every single day on the type of practice that you are doing. Now, you aren't going to get results, every single map, every single day. Sometimes things take weeks, but you do want to keep track of that and make sure that you are making progress. You aren't wasting your time, and you are getting better together. So, again, if you guys are new or a little less experienced, or maybe you're not and you just didn't know this, I hope that this helped. I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about. If you have a question, obviously leave it down in the comments below. I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. More educational content soon. Tdawgg out of here. Deuces.